Ah, yeah, ambush. And today we are rejoined by a guest. When last time that he was here, we talked about, building some paper planes, maybe throwing them around in the air, seeing what the flights bring us. But this time around, the adventure, it continues. The third single from his upcoming EP adventure book, Cecilia, has just released recently. Our guest is the returning Francois Klark. How's it going today, Francois?
Yeah, man, that was like the best intro ever.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it, my friend. How have you been?
Been good. It's really nice to see your face again. And it's been wild getting the album finished and done, but it's all wrapped up and good to go.
Well, yes, it's been, I believe, since last October 2021 since we last spoke. So, about like 9-10 months or so here. So is that what you've been doing through this time?
100%. Yeah, that's just the only thing that I've been doing is just being in the studio, tracking the last vocals, fixing the last little bit of snares and kicks and backup vocals and all these things. And the last couple of months, obviously, has been just spending most of my time with the mixes and the masters and making sure that those are good and deciding track order. And, all that stuff is now officially done and it's sent off out of my hands. All the digital distributors have received it. So it's kind of a nice feeling to just be like, okay, now I can't do anything to it anymore, even if I wanted to. As musicians can fuss about stuff for so long. So, at some point, just letting go, it feels really good.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. There's a point where you want it to be like perfect, but you can't overpick the song, right? Because you don't want it to lose its original feeling.
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. And of course, the song we're talking about here today is the latest single. It is chapter 3, story 3 in this book, Cecilia. So, of course, I have to ask, where exactly does the story of Cecilia begin for you, Francois?
It starts in high school. It starts in grade. So our schools work a little bit different. We don't have middle school back in South Africa, so we just go elementary to high school. So grade 8 is the first year of high school for us. So this song for me goes from grade 9. That's when I met my best friend, and we've just been super close all these years. And so I was going through a bunch of boxes, just before I started writing the song, and came across a whole bag of old photos and letters and that kind of stuff. And the idea for Cecilia kind of just started. Thought, you know what, that'd be a good way to kind of pay tribute. I didn't really set out to be like, on this record, I'm going to write a song to pay tribute to this person and that person. But it kind of sort of ended up happening. And yeah, so Cecilia is about my best friend from high school, and to this day, best friend. And we've just been in each other's lives. So yeah.
Wow. So just happened to see some of those old memories and it kicked up some nostalgia for you.
Yeah, those old film photos,
Taking you back to the day. And that sounds like it's exactly what the lyrics are about, is some of those classic memories, those formative moments of youth.
Yeah, 100%. I love some of those coming of age movies, like Where the Wild Things Are. And, there's a whole bag of them that you can list down. But, that feeling of just being young and becoming human. So yeah, this song is 100% like a coming of age song that just is a little snapshot of youth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love those movies as well. So I love that analogy, that comparison there. Fantastic. And of course, you, from what I can see, happen to be the co-producer on this track as well.
Yeah, so I kind of have my foot in every one of the songs, like starting out with all the songs on all the records, like the record that I've done before. And then this one, I have a pretty strong idea of I want things to sound like. And so I always do production roughs before I kind of team up with a producer. The producer that worked on this one, Sean Wharton, is also the guy that produced Paper Planes. And obviously he does the heavy lifting. And I just send him a whole bunch of stems and a whole bag of ideas. And this is how I want it to sound. And then we just go back and forth, but 100% Sean does all the heavy lifting. And if you haven't checked out his stuff yet since our last time, his artist name is On Planets, and he's got amazing stuff out there. But yeah, so I worked on this tune with Sean Wharton.
Okay, so of course you mentioned Sean being maybe the more experienced producer, the heavy lifter here there. So is there anything that maybe you picked up, some tools that maybe you're going to use in your own production game moving forward?
That I learned from him?
Yes.
Well, as you know, with all the, it's at this point where I kind of don't want to mention the word anymore, but because of the lockdowns and stuff that happened, a lot of the times we couldn't be with each other. And also Sean is over in your world. He's over there in BC. So I'm here in Ontario. He's in BC. So we've been not able to be in the same room. So I couldn't really steal too many of his ideas and like learn and peek over his shoulder so much. But yeah.
Well, maybe hopefully with things opening up, you'll be able to make that opportunity, that trek, oh yeah, let me come check out the studio.
Yeah, man, I'd use any excuse to come visit you guys over there.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, speaking about the production of the song, some of the elements, the musical elements of this song, you speak about going back sort of to your youth and otherwise. And as you mentioned, you're sort of not from here in Canada originally. So it's just sort of, you can hear some South African influence inside of the musical part of this song here too.
Ever so slightly. I won't say it wasn't super deliberate. The guitarist that's on the song, her name is Heather Crawford, and just a phenomenal guitar player. She also plays with Jesse Reyes, and when she's home, we're really close. We get to spend some time together. But then I always, can kind of like just pull the friend card and say, "Hey, would you play on this tune?" And she had recorded the guitar on the track and did a bunch of stuff that kind of reminded me of almost like a township type guitar situation. And it really stood out to me when I went into the studio to do the backup vocals, and the engineer that was doing the vocal session kind of just sat back. And at the end of the session, when we did the lead vocals, and he sat back and it's like, "Okay, go for it if you want to do some stuff." Because I ran out of all the stuff that I had planned for the background vocals. And as soon as he sat back and just played the stuff back, that acoustic guitar element just really kind of took me back home and sent me in a direction that's sounding a little bit more like that, the South African vibe. And I had so much fun in the studio doing that. If you solo all the backups, it's like there's a lot going on, but I had a lot of fun doing the backups for that tune. It's nice to kind of just, with this song that has such a strong connection to being back home and just growing up back home, to kind of just nod, using the backup vocals and the guitar to kind of just send a little nod back to South Africa and include a little bit of that culture and musical element in the music.
Hey, fantastic. So, of course, you mentioned earlier, you and Cecilia actually happen to still be friends, best friends even, is the way I believe you put it. So, of course, I'm sure she's heard the track by now. So what exactly was her reception to this song?
Well, I had to send it to her before I released it. So the song was done and produced. It kind of took the gamble, not that I thought that she would have been like, "Don't put this out ever." I never thought that would happen, but I sent it to her before I started working on the artwork, because I wanted to use a little photo of the two of us from back in school. But also, I didn't want to put it out in the world if I didn't get her permission. So I sent her the first master over WhatsApp and said, "Hey, I've been working on something. Listen to it. And once you've listened to it, give me a shout. I need to ask you something." And she sent me a little voice note, all teary-eyed and, saying, "Oh, this is so special. And this means so much." And it's kind of like a little photo album, but in audio form. And so yeah, she luckily gave me her blessing to not only put out the song, but to also use her face on the artwork. So.
Well, I'm glad that she was down for it. It could be real awkward if she wasn't, right? Like, gotta find a new single, I guess. Yeah.
I guess it would have been just like, Yes, that song is just gonna go in a shelf and
Pull
just sit
that
there
off
and collect dust.
distributors.
Yeah. Oh, she's so wonderful, and I knew that she would be okay with it. But yeah,
Hey, fantastic. Perfect. And of course, like we mentioned, this comes off of your upcoming album here. Adventure book for, like you said, it's already uploaded to distributors. You shared a little bit of a teaser there on your social media. So from what I can tell, it's at least 8 tracks. So what can you tell us about this upcoming album?
so it's actually 9 tracks. And like the title says, and I think we spoke about this just a little bit when we talked about Paper Planes a little while ago, but like the title of the album says, Adventure Book, the whole record is about traveling and going places. And I kind of use that as the backdrop to talk about stuff like in Cecilia, about youth, about relationships, a little bit about faith. That's one song. And then overall, just the whole spirit of the album is just kind of wanderlust and that desire to like explore the world and to connect with our fellow human beings. And that's Adventure Book in a nutshell.
All right. And of course, you also hinted that it comes our way July 29th. So of course, you've been working on this project for quite some time now. So now knowing that it's literally 2 weeks away from the recording of this interview, what's the excitement like here for you?
It's a little bit scary knowing that it's only 2 weeks away, but at the same time, so excited to be able to get it out and share it because, I've been selfishly just holding on to it all this time and making sure that I am really happy with it. And, but it is, there's such an element of nature and sunshine and warmth. And, so being able to put that out and share that with people and hoping that it gives them that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that it's given me while I was making it. Yeah, no, there's so many things that need to happen before the record actually drops and actually comes out. But I'm so excited to put it out there. If anybody is listening and they're iTunes user, the song or the album is already available for pre-sale on iTunes. So you can go take a sneak peek at what the artwork looks like, because I haven't released that on my socials yet, but it's on iTunes. And in the coming weeks, I'll start previewing little pieces of the artwork and little snippets of the songs and kind of talk about what each specific song is about. And 2 weeks, and before you know it, it's the 29th.
Hey, of course. The best way to go ahead and keep up with all of those little snippets, all of those little hints leading you throughout the next 2 weeks here. The best way to do that, go ahead and follow Francois Klark on your favorite social media. What would you say, Francois, is the best way to connect with you?
Instagram is probably the best spot to go. That's the one platform that I've kind of been gravitating towards and just kind of stuck full on. So its handle is at Francois Klark, and Klark is with a K or 2 Ks, one in the middle, one at the end. And that's probably the best spot.
All right.
And obviously, if you want to connect with the music on whatever DSP you listen to.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and follow there too. Go ahead and follow before this new music comes out.
Yeah.
Before this new music comes out. Because then it's going to be in your playlist, on your feed, your homepage, the day that it comes out. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Rep you some Francois Klark. Come on. Of course, and you mentioned earlier there the idea of wanderlust. And of course, with the world potentially reopening, there might be the option to do that. We'll travel a little bit more. Maybe get back out on stage. Maybe do a little bit of touring. Any plans to do that in the near future?
Absolutely. Yeah. So first off, I can't wait to just go home for a little bit because I haven't been able to go back to South Africa in such a long time. So plans are to go home for a little bit. But then, yes, I'm planning on touring the record first here at home. And then with the help of the wonderful Factor and the government of Canada, be able to go tour a little bit in Europe as well, which would be only my second time touring in Europe. Oh, wait, I am lying. Third time. But only my second time with my own music. So that would be really, really nice. We'd love to go visit Germany, go back to Spain again, and do some of the Nordic countries a little bit. But first, a little bit of Canadian and United States love before we go over the water.
Hey, either way, Francois Klark might be coming your way real soon, maybe,
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'll be there.
Oh, my goodness. And of course, when it comes to a performance, sometimes there comes a little bit of nerves after that, especially after, not performing for a very, very long period of time. So when it comes to getting ready for a show, maybe working through some of those pre-show jitters, do you have a routine before you take the stage, Francois?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I'm lucky that I play with a cover band here in Toronto. So we play every single weekend, do events and things. So like that, at least, that performance nerves aren't so great. However, when it comes to original music, I do have a little bit of nerves. And so I've kind of set up a little system for shows. So I like being in the green room beforehand, like quite a bit before the day of the show, doing a nice sound check. Closer to showtime, I either have a banana or a slice of pizza, which people think is really weird, but I've read somewhere if you have just a little bit of something in your stomach, it kind of helps, just calms the nerve a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have this little tradition that I started a couple of years ago with the release of my first record, when I played tour and shows for that record. I started just like either painting or drawing like lines on my arm, just with white acrylic paint or the white acrylic pens. And initially I did it with a paintbrush and paint, which takes a little bit more time and focus and precision, which really, like, when you're focusing on that, your whole body just kind of calms down and just focuses. And I just use that time to kind of think about, what's really important in life, and just realizing, this performance is important. However, it is not, whatever happens, it's not the end of the world. And everybody is there just to kind of have a good time. But there are so many things in life that are so much more important than just that moment. Just kind of like resetting perspective. And that always really helped to just chill the nerves out and get ready for stage. And then I also kind of like, when the place is kind of filled up a little bit, going to the back of house and kind of being not in the crowd, but just seeing what the crowd looks like and feels like, and feeling the room. And that always helps. Yeah.
Hey, getting a feel for the energy, the vibe.
Yeah.
Hey. And then you take that energy, and of course, as we know, it's feeding off of each other. That's a beautiful thing about live music.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Miss that. Looking forward to that.
Hey, real soon you'll be experiencing that part of the magic of music. But of course, until then, we've got an adventure book coming our way. Francois, I have had a blast here today. Thank you so much for rejoining us here on the DTP.
You're so welcome, Colton. Thank you so much for having me again.